Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Segerblom joins us. He's here for the whole show on the all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Calamity. It lurks around every corner. Or not. That's why UMC Quick Care is around every corner, with locations around the valley. UMC Quick Care, for all your small calamities.
Can't do it. Stupid, like my mom.
We can't do anything at Mommy's because you won't pay child support.
Dad said you cheated, and he's not even sure he's my dad.
Mommy said you left both of us, so she isn't gonna let me see you. I look just like my father.
I'm divorce attorney Marilyn York, and I may represent men, but hate has no gender, only casualties. Please, stop sacrificing your children in your war against your ex.
Safety. We all think about it. You think about it when he buckles in, when you check your mirrors and put away your phone. RTC thinks about safety too. In fact, we create it. Center turn lanes mean fewer blind spots. Bike lanes keep cyclists and you safe. Roundabouts reduce injury collisions, and all these crosswalks are designed to keep families like yours safe. Safety is your priority, and it's ours too. Every day, in everything we do.
The signs and symptoms of cataracts can start out small with subtle changes in your vision. So don't wait. Be proactive and take your vision into your own hands. If you're experiencing the onset of cataracts or just have questions, contact your eye care professional or call Eye Care Associates of Nevada today. Dr. Hiss has years of experience specializing in the surgical correction of eye disorders and has completed over 84,000 vision correcting procedures. At Eye Care Associates of Nevada, we'll change the way you look at the world.
Calamity. It lurks around every corner. Or not. That's why UMC Quick Care is around every corner, with locations around the valley. UMC Quick Care, for all your small calamities.
Nevada Newsmakers Studio is located at the headquarters of the Nevada Trucking Association. Motion and purpose are a truck's greatest virtue.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from Las Vegas. We're always pleased to welcome back to the program Segerblom. He is the Clark County Commissioner for District E. Pleasure to have you back on the program, sir.
Glad to be back, thank you.
And so as we are taping this, it was just yesterday, the renaming of the airport in Las Vegas to Harry Reid Airport. You were the prime mover of this. You started in the legislature and carried on as county commissioner. What was it like to finally get this done?
Well, a sense of relief, frankly, but you know, no good thing happens overnight, so it took a long time. But I think actually the longer it went on, the more people started to realize how significant it was and how important it was. So I think by yesterday, you know, when I first started, there's a lot of controversy, but I think by yesterday everyone agreed that it was really appropriate.
What was interesting to me was, out of the three major donors that contributed $1 million each, it was bipartisan.
No, absolutely, and that's one thing people don't realize about Senator Reid is that if you called him up and said, I have a problem, he didn't say, are you a Democrat or Republican or conservative or liberal or whatever. He would help, and it went from the person that's trying to get welfare or a place to sleep to one of the Boyds or somebody. I mean, I don't know what they did over his lifetime, but I think a lot of people realized that he was so influential and he was able to contact people and make things happen that no one else has ever been able to do.
You know, what was interesting to me was, and Senator Reid said this on the program a few years ago, he said, even though we disagree politically, if Steve Wynn or Sheldon Adelson need help, I'm always happy to help. Oh. And I just thought that was fascinating.
No, absolutely. And as you saw, Miriam supported him. Sheldon supported him before he died. So you know, it was a, that's just the way he was. He saw that Nevada had a lot of important figures and didn't look at the politics of it, but realized that if they did well, then we all did well. And that's kind of his legacy, I think. If you look down the strip and around the state, there's a lot of people who came here with nothing like he did, and now are millionaires or billionaires, and it's because we all believed in this common thing that Nevada could be great.
And it is great. When did you first meet Senator Reid?
Truthfully, I'm not sure. I'm sure back in the 70s. I ran the Bob Rose for Governor campaign, so I know I met him then. But my family has known him forever. We're from Boulder City, and he was from Searchlight and Henderson. So my parents were always just so proud of him and very close to him.
I mean, it's just such a remarkable story to come from such a background of poverty. No school nearby. Had to go on a long hike to get to school. Swam in the swimming pool of the brothel. His mother did laundry for the brothel. His father committed suicide, so that was no help. And Mike O'Callahan took an interest in him, and he ends up being the majority leader of the United States Senate. I mean, what a story.
No, that's what I tell people is you could never dream of something is actually what happened with Senator Reid. It's a true miracle, and it just shows that one person can do with a lot of determination. He was not raised religiously, married Landra. They both went to Utah State, became Mormons, so now very active in the Mormon Church. Just the whole thing, you could never create that story.
One of the things that I've always appreciated about Senator Reid was his willingness to engage with the media. If you got in trouble with him, well, then maybe you would have a problem, but I never did. But he was always available, and he would never ask for questions in advance. A lot of, and you don't either, but a lot of politicians will ask for questions in advance. And Senator Reid would always say to me, just ask me anything, anything. And he would answer it. And that's a pretty remarkable thing, especially in this day and age.
No, absolutely, and you probably can't find a politician like that anymore because they're also just terrified of their shadow. But he was a fighter, and he's willing to engage with anybody. He usually came out on top. As you know, he's been burned a lot of times by the press, but he never gave up. And I think the only person that he had an issue with was John Ralston. I'm not sure where that goes to, but.
Well, that was an incident, and he talked about that, at least with me privately, was that there had been stories done about his sons, and he didn't care if you wrote stories about him, but he was upset about the fact that negative stories had been written about his sons, and but that relationship was patched up, and in fact, John is writing a definitive book on Harry Reid's life, and we'll all look forward to reading that. I'm sure it'll be terrific. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Lots more to talk about with Segerblom after this time out.
7 at 7 is available anytime, anywhere.
I'm Riley Smith with your Vegas Golden Knights. Watch 7 minutes of nonstop news from the Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Streaming on LVRJ.com and Twitter. Powered by the Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Events Center in Las Vegas. Host meetings and events on 2 floors. Stay in luxurious rooms and suites. Unlimited branding opportunities. Regional Italian cuisine by Chef Mark Segrisi. Flexible event spaces. Full buyout options. Visit ahernhotel.com today.
I'm Jeff Gehrman, an investigative reporter with the Las Vegas Review-Journal. I'm your guide for Season 2 of Mobbed Up, The Fight for Las Vegas.
You're in with every gangster and hoodlum in the United States.
I don't go for that, Mr. Kennedy. I don't go for that kind of action.
I was on television accused of fronting for the mob.
Subscribe to Mobbed Up, The Fight for Las Vegas, Season 2, today on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Before the masks, before the distancing, before the world changed, UMC was ready. Our response to COVID-19 began before the crisis did, with our own team of infectious disease experts who've spent their careers planning for this moment. With a pandemic response plan, we'd practiced again and again, and by blazing new trails in large-scale testing, including every patient we admit. Always ready. UMC.
7 at 7 is available anytime, anywhere.
I'm Riley Smith with your Vegas Golden Knights. Watch 7 minutes of nonstop news from the Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Streaming on LVRJ.com and YouTube. Powered by the Las Vegas Review-Journal. This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers, continuing conversation with Clark County Commissioner Tick Segerblom. The Super Bowl.
You know, I have to say, and I probably would have still voted against it, but when we had the vote in the Senate in 2017, or maybe 2015, I can't remember what it was, but anyway, they kept saying, you know, I kept saying, how are we going to fill this stadium? They said, well, you know, every time there's an out-of-state team coming here, half of the stadium will be filled by these people from out of state. And I'm thinking, that is crazy. It's turned out that's what happens. You know, people from all around the country come, follow their team here, love it. So that worked out. The other thing they said, the Super Bowl is going to come. I was like, how are we going to get the Super Bowl? You know, here we're going to have the Super Bowl in 2 more years. And truthfully, that's going to be the best Super Bowl by far in history. Can you imagine this town in Super Bowl week? We're actually getting ready to do the NFL draft at the end of April, and that now has become a huge thing. We're going to close down the strip. We're going to have the players or the people who have been drafted. There will be a raft in the middle of the Bellagio fountains. They'll be motored out there to do their thing. I mean, we're going to do it upright. It's going to be pretty amazing.
Tick Segerblom converted.
Well, not converted. I said I still think it was wrong to use taxpayer money to build it. I think we should have built it 100% taxpayer or none. But truth is, it really has worked out. And so I have to say I was wrong on that.
And it's going to be used for so many other things. I mean, it's not just.
It already is. That's what it's probably going to be the most used stadium in the country, because we can fill a stadium like that, and all these stars want to come here, and then of course the hotels bring people. So we don't have the people here to go every week for $100 or $500, but it's going to work out. Now we just have to get the Rebels so that they have people who come to their games.
Well, and I think that will come, you know, if they have a successful team, then that will build as well. But they've got to be obviously very excited to be playing in that stadium. I was talking to Marilyn Kirkpatrick, your colleague on the commission, and I was saying to her, NFR, the rodeo, is 10 nights. Did she think that the Super Bowl was going to be something like that? She said more like 20 nights. And then I've been talking to other people, and they're saying, no, more like 30 nights. What's your read on that?
I don't have that much knowledge about how it works, but I just know that there's so much more than just the game, and so it's going to really set the town on fire. And as I said, the ability to stay in a hotel and walk to the stadium is so important. I think that's just going to really add to the dynamics of it. Because so often, you know, with a national convention or a game like that, you have to drive there, so there's so much confusion getting there. But anyway. So I have to brag one thing. I went to the first Super Bowl when I was a freshman year in college at the Los Angeles Coliseum. So I'm hoping to get to this one. Well,
I think you will. I don't see you look very healthy to me.
No one's invited me, but hopefully I can afford a ticket.
Well, I'm sure with your fundraising abilities you might be able to do that. Resorts World, a big opening. Another property on the Strip, Fontainebleau, looks like it's going to be finally done, because you're probably not a big fan of that company, but Koch
Brothers are doing it.
Yeah, they've got the money to be able to actually make this happen. Do you have concerns about this many more rooms coming in?
No, I mean, the truth is, if we can do as well as we're doing now with the pandemic, then I think the future is so bright. So, you know, we have to get the international travel back, so that's going to be a huge issue. But you know, I've never been through a pandemic before, but I'm assuming it ends at some point, and when it does, watch out. We're already seeing people coming here from all over, but I'm not concerned at all. And as you saw yesterday, the Hard Rock has bought the Mirage, and they're going to add rooms in the front there. The north part of the Strip, which is my area, is really on fire.
Oh, it certainly is. And I didn't mention it when I was interviewing Howard Stutz, but he had joked that somebody should throw a stick of dynamite over when the Convention Authority was being expanded and get rid of the Fontainebleau, and now I think he's backing off on that particular statement. But now, as you talk to developers, I know you don't want to see sprawl, so are you able to talk to developers and say you got to build up rather than out?
Well, we're talking, but truthfully, that's a bigger conversation that I think we're just starting to think about. Last month we've gotten word from the head of the water district saying that we're in serious trouble. And so now I think that's a real opportune time to start saying, look, what do we want to be? I mean, we can be a desert and go all the way, build houses all the way to California, but there won't be any grass or any trees or anything. I mean, I think I'd rather have things pushed back into the valley and make it a fun place to be with a little greenery, little trees. We don't have to waste water, but we don't have to just use every drop for essentials. I mean, it's part of this is you live in Las Vegas because it's a great place to live. And so we lose sight of the trees when we focus on growth and making sure that we have enough water to grow everywhere, when I don't want to grow to California. I want to keep it in the valley.
Do you expect, as demographers have said, that we're going to see 1 million additional people in this valley?
I do. I mean, I'm not sure how it's going to be and how we're going to do the water, but again, the more concentrated we are, the less water we're going to use. You know, houses use more water than condos do or townhouses do. So we can certainly handle another 1 million, but if we're going to do it, let's do it in a way where the schools are ready, the roads are ready, as opposed to the way we've always been, which we build the school, we build the road, we build the houses, and then we build the roads, then we build the schools. So we're always behind the game, and crowded, everything's overcrowded, and we're like miserable. I mean, the pandemic has actually shown us how great it is to live here. When the roads slowed down, everybody could get around. It's like, wow, this is a great place to live, and the air quality was good.
Well, you brought up schools, so I got to bring up the school board and the superintendent. Have you ever seen anything as crazy as that?
I haven't, but you know, I've been, when I went to the legislature back in 2007, my goal was to try to reform the school district, because I'd been suing them for years and it didn't seem to make a difference. But I can just tell you that the structure just doesn't work. You can't have people making, elected officials making, you know, $500 a month or whatever it is they make, with no staff, then hiring somebody who makes $400,000 a year, and then they have a policy governance where they can't get involved. So you have basically, you hire a dictator. If the dictator turns out, that's great, but truthfully, we haven't had a dictator since Brian Cram that worked out. It's been a mess. And somehow or other we have to get more involved and get the elected officials with staff who can actually pay attention and monitor this stuff. And I've been pushing, you know, for have county commission districts match the school board districts and get us more involved. And we actually just, during the pandemic, have started to be a little bit more involved.
Okay, well, that will be an interesting turn of events. But, you know, it's still the 5th largest school district in the country. It's massive.
Yeah, but again, you have 7 people who have never served an elected office. They're hired to run this thing. They don't have any staff. They have an open meeting law, so they can't sit around, you know, like in here and talk about what we're going to do. They have to actually debate things in the public. The lawyer says, oh, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that. The superintendent says, I'm not going to talk to you. And then it's a mess. It's a non-functional thing, but we can fix it, as opposed to everybody wants to say, well, let's just appoint people or let's pick somebody. Anytime you're picking people, I think that's wrong. You got to have elections.
All right, let's take another break. We'll be back with the commissioner after this timeout.
Dimitri Prine here for Design Outdoor. At Design Outdoor, we specialize in all hardscapes, pavers, and walls you'll need for everything, from wonderful small yards to full-blown outdoor living. And we only refer the best contractors to make your vision a reality. Our store and backyard are located at 11600 South Virginia, just north of DeMonte Ranch Parkway. Visit designoutdoor.com or call us at 851-9499.
I'm men's rights attorney Marilyn York, and because I represent men in all family law matters, women often call me gender traitor, woman hater, and even disgusting. So why represent men and target myself with these offensive monikers? It's simple. Children with fathers in their lives are 6 times less likely to drop out of school, 15 times less likely to go to prison, and 5 times less likely to commit suicide. So ladies, you can hate me, but please love your children more than you hate their fathers.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Segerblom. He's the Clark County Commissioner for District E. Let's talk about, and we've talked about this before, but I got to bring it up again because it doesn't seem to be in any way resolved, which is the split in the Democratic Party between the State Democratic Party and Judith Whitmer and the rest of the party that is now being run out of Northern Nevada. Where are we? Does this make any sense? And as we head towards the next election, does it really make any sense there?
I've said this many times, and so I'll just repeat it, that the truth is the Democratic Party, there's not like there's a Democratic Party where there's millions of dollars and 10,000 people working and it's all organized and it's computerized. The Democratic Party basically is one person who's kind of a cheerleader, and then if the elected officials want to use the Democratic Party, they will get together, provide the resources, and create a structure to help register people and get people out to vote to help the ticket. But those things can actually operate separately. So to the extent that they can't work with Judith, they're going to do it anyway, as you said, working through the Washoe Party. But at the end of the day, it's not going to hurt the turnout. The governor's a Democrat, Catherine Cortez Masto is a Democrat. We control the legislature, we control almost all the statewide offices. So we're going to spend the money and the resources to get people to turn out, and the average voter doesn't care whether it's the Democratic Party of Nevada or it's the Washoe Democratic Party or it's whatever we call it. That really doesn't influence elections.
Okay, well, we may disagree on that, but you do have a split, across the country between people who are the Bernie Sanders supporters and people who were the Biden supporters, and that there doesn't seem to be a coming together. In past elections, you see, the election and whatever the fight was before, everybody comes together after, and that really didn't happen this time.
Well, we haven't had an election yet, so we'll see.
Well, I'm talking about just the national. The problem is, the election cycle is 365 days a year, every year. Turn on your television set here in Las Vegas, and it's nonstop political commercials for Catherine Cortez Masto, against Catherine Cortez Masto. These races are well underway.
No, they are. But again, the reality is, and you can look at Congress and say, oh my God, they're fighting over, and the liberals are causing all kinds of havoc in the House of Representatives. But those are kind of things we have there. But trust me, we will be so united by next fall. There won't be an inch piece of paper between us all, because what's at stake. It's Trump versus Biden, and Biden, truthfully, has done more. And same with our governor, has done more for progressives and the issues we've been fighting for forever. In the past, in 1 year, we forget he's only been there 11 months. So how much? Give us a little break here. But let's get this infrastructure bill done. And then get focused on how we're going to take advantage of it. We're sitting here at the county. We got $440 million that we're trying to figure out how to spend to help people who have been adversely impacted by the pandemic. We're giving out millions of dollars in grants at the next meeting next Tuesday. It's so exciting to actually be in government where we're actually trying to help people. Okay,
but do you have fears of 2014?
I don't, because 2014 people sat on their hands. They said, he's not perfect enough, and we're just not going to worry about get out the vote, and we suffered tremendously. But that's not the case this time. I said we have a short-term memory and a long-term memory, but we know we don't want to do that again. So I'm talking to all the people that normally would participate that might sit on their hands, the unions, everybody, and everybody's fired up. All the machines are ready to go. Because truthfully, we've been helped. It's not like we're trying to be perfect. We realize that when this bill is passed, whatever it is, it's going to be so much better than what we have before, that we can all get behind it.
Okay, and you're referring now to the Build Back Better bill?
Right.
Okay, because the infrastructure bill is already passed.
I confused the names.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
But now, okay, so there are other things. Because it's fascinating watching history unfold as you live it. As against being in school and learning about what happened 100 years ago, we actually are living through this. And you're seeing tons of money being poured in the economy, but here in Nevada, for example, try to hire somebody. it's unbelievably difficult at this point in time in so many trades, and trades that you have a great interest in, building trades, union trades. People are struggling to find workers, and yet we're going to have all this infrastructure money. Who's going to do the work?
Well, that's the beauty of it. So we're going to have apprenticeship programs. We're going to take these people who have not been active in the economy or have had to be maids or something, and now put them into the construction trades. And you know, before it was always like a white-dominated construction trades, and everyone was trying to get in. Now, because we need people, anybody, they're out there begging people to join. So I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. But right now, the melting pot is coming together so everybody can participate in this economy. It's not just going to be white people like me that benefit. It's going to be everybody, and that's who we are. And that's part of the fight that's going on is this fight between the few old white guys hanging on, and there's people of color from everywhere in the world.
Okay, who are these old white guys hanging on?
Trump, all this. If you look at the Republicans in Congress, all these people that are like, oh my God, we don't want to bring new people in, and the Democratic Party is like, hello, we are here. I mean, Vegas is using the airport as a teaching moment. When McCarran was senator, you know, it was a white-dominated culture. He was anti-immigration, anti-everything. Harry Reid represents somebody who actually reached out and wanted to bring everybody in. If you go around Las Vegas, we are so multicultural, multi-ethnic, it's unbelievable. You go to school, it's like the United Nations.
But he evolved as well.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But he was willing to evolve. He could see the future and appreciated it, and brought people in and brought them into the game. But now we're ready to take advantage of that.
All right, in the last 2 minutes of this show, you opened up all these other questions, which just means come back again soon.
Okay, no problem.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Tig. And we'll be right back.
Brian Culpa Photography was born in the rolling hills of Massachusetts, and now he can help you experience the stunning beauty of Nevada in a whole new way through the power of flight. Flying has always been a passion for Brian, and at Brian Culpa Photography, he can make your imagination soar. Brian has the creative mind and tools to tell your unique story. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com.
Hi, my name's Marilyn Miner, and I'm sure you'd agree that Nevada's a very special place to live. I was born here, and my husband and I have raised our family here. I feel it's a privilege to live and work in the Truckee Meadows. I especially enjoy helping my clients reach their real estate goals. Sometimes the smallest details provide the greatest satisfaction. I'd be complimented to talk to you about your next move.
Call Marilyn Miner at Dixon Realty, 742-1280, or log on to marilynminer.com.
Safety. We all think about it. You think about it when he buckles in, when you check your mirrors and put away your phone. RTC thinks about safety too. In fact, we create it. Center turn lanes mean fewer blind spots. Bike lanes keep cyclists and you safe. Roundabouts reduce injury collisions, and all these crosswalks are designed to keep families like yours safe. Safety is your priority, and it's ours too. Every day, in everything we do.
Pro Group Management is the place where companies can find workers' comp solutions that are designed to meet their specific business requirements. As regulations evolve, Pro Group takes a proactive approach to clear the path to make sure your business stays ahead of the curve. Knowing your workers' comp program is optimized, you can focus on other important matters related to your growing business. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
We'll see you on the next broadcast. Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers. We'll see you next time.